Welcome back, family, to another Devas of Creation video. This one's going to be a little bit more of a guide and it's going to be a little bit more helpful, but today we're pretty much going to talk about 5 tips. These are just 5 tips that I thought of just from the top of my head and things that I've personally found helpful. Now, this will just be a part 1 and we can do other types of videos in the future, and you guys can always request other types of videos to be seen on the channel as well. Just let me know. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's not waste any time. So, number 1, I'm going to say farm lots of materials. So, what do I mean by this? So, obviously, materials are pretty important. And you take a ton of damage in the game, and the regen is not really too great. Not really great at all, actually. So, it's always recommended to bring some sort of, materials with you, whether it be a potion, stamina potion, health potion, mana potions, stuff like that, to make sure that you are, good in combat. But I definitely would highly recommend doing this, because if you don't, then you're gonna get collapsed and you're gonna be mad, because you're gonna have to go all the way back to spawn, and then if you're lower level, you don't have a lot of the funds to travel across the different waypoints, and you don't even have them unlocked. So like I said, I would highly recommend having a lot of materials on you. Right now, this is gonna segue to number 2, which is going to be getting better, farming enough materials to get better tools. So let's take a look at our tools here, right? So if we could take a look at our forge list and go to our tools, like I'd say your axe and pickaxe are going to be the most important things that you're going to need in terms of, crafting these things and like upgrading tools, weapons, crafting armor, weapons, and all that stuff, right? So let's take a look, right? So you first start out with the apprentice digger, which is decent, right, starting out, but I didn't recently get my better tools until like level 30, which if I were to go back and start over again, I would definitely focus on this early on, because you can get better armor and not have to farm like I was farming for drops, right, for the different sword drops and different weapon drops from NPCs, which I was killing hundreds of NPCs to get the drops. But I could have just gotten the materials, gotten better armor, gotten better weapons from doing that. So like I said, I would recommend leveling this stuff up, and then you also get an increase in speed in terms of harvesting, right? So every time you get a better tool, you get faster harvesting, which is really helpful. It's not wasting your time, because man, that moonstone and that this stuff here, this emeraldite and the moonstone, that stuff takes a long time to mine. And if you have this apprentice digger, you're sitting there for a good 15-20 seconds. I'm not gonna lie, that's a waste of time, especially when you have to get like on some of these higher weapons. Like, look at this. For the great sword, you gotta look like we're looking at 28 of those. Imagine that. That's 400 seconds of just wasted time. No, we're not doing that. So get yourself a better tool and you'll be good to go. Number 3 is going to be find a good spot to farm and where the NPC spawn quickly. Like, okay, I don't know like too much like in regarding how the spawn rates are, and like I don't know if there's different spots where NPCs spawn quicker, but what I have found is that like if you kill them all and group them up and then like loot them all at the same time, their bodies will disappear, and I think it has a higher chance of them respawning all at once. And I think there's something to do with like whether something's in the way of the spawn. Okay, I was saying that I don't know the logic behind all of the code in terms of like how the spawn rates are, but yeah, I would say find a spot where you can farm a lot of NPCs that farm quickly. I found that the rats were really helpful, and those like spawn really fast and they're really close together. Drop some different locations that you guys have found to be useful in the comments down below. Number 4 is going to be put your stats into strength, not so much into health. So this is a parry based game. I personally have a lot more into health, where I show you guys my attributes. So I have 30 into constitution. Now I at one point had everything into strength. The reason why is because if you're parrying, you should not be taking damage like that, right? You really shouldn't. Obviously put some into health, constitution, if you will, right? But don't put a lot, right? Like the more damage you're doing, if you can put it to dex, which I don't know about dex too much, but if you want to do it, just do into something that's going to increase your overall damage output, because that's going to help you kill the NPCs faster, which will then help you level up faster, right? And this is going to be a segue into the final one, which we'll touch on this. We just touched on this, learning to parry. So what I'm going to do is provide a guide for parrying. Like I already have, a direwolf basic beginner parry, like how to parry the direwolf video. But I will be dropping different types of enemies, and a lot of them are similar, and it's really not too hard. But I will say that understanding what to look for has been helpful, and it has, it will help you guys save a lot of time in terms of death and dying and not having to respond as much, because I get loaded, and I've played Deep Woken and all these other games. I'm decent at parrying, but I will say if I had known about how to parry in the beginning and like what to look for, I would have been a lot better, and I would not have died as much. So that's going to be number 5. Now, let me know what you guys think about these 5 tips that I provided you guys with today. If you guys have any recommendations, leave them in the comments down below. I appreciate all the support. Much love to you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.